Good morning. Thank you for joining. We will just allow a moment to clear the waiting room before we get started.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us. As a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are providing testimony before the board. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce, Chair of the Boston Licensing Board. This morning, I'm joined by Commissioner Kiana Saxon and Commissioner Liam Carvin.
Thank you. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly, especially if you intend to provide testimony. I will call each item in the order that it appears on this morning's agenda. I'll ask who is present on behalf of the licensee, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department, and whether there are any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify. I will then swear in all parties. After that, the police report will be read into the record, and the licensee or their representative will have the opportunity to make a brief statement, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. All testimony will be limited only to those individuals with firsthand personal knowledge of the alleged incident. Begin with the first item on this morning's agenda, calling item number 1, Concord Entertainment, Inc., doing business as Bill's Bar, the Lansdowne Pub, located at Lansdowne Street. Date of the incident, January 20th, 2024. Assault and battery, employee on patron, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning, Attorney Green, Dennis Squilty, attorney representing the licensee. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. With us this morning, Anthony Chuga, who's the manager, was on duty on the night in question, Terrell Bradshaw, and Wayne Miller of the security staff, and Katina Corpines, who's the administrative officer for the Lions Group. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe Ms. Corpines is the only person mentioned who I see on screen right now. So any others on behalf of Bill's Bar, Lansdowne Pub wish to testify, please do turn your camera on so we can swear you in.
Anthony, Terrell, are you guys with us? Okay, there's Anthony. And there's Wayne.
Great.
One more, perhaps. Katina, do you know if Terrell's with us this morning?
I am looking and I don't see.
Well, we have Anthony and Wayne, so we can go with that.
Thank you. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Police Officer João Margotto.
Thank you, Officer Margotto. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand?
Lieutenant Detective Troy also, if I could.
Thank you, Lieutenant Troy. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I do. I do.
Thank you all. Who will be reading the police report into the record? Would that be Officer Margotto or Lieutenant Troy?
Officer Margotto should have a copy of it now.
Yes, sir. I do have a copy.
Okay.
Thank you. If you could please proceed for the board.
About 2:45 p.m. on Saturday, January 20th, 24, Officer Margotto in the Delta 431 days response to a radio call for assault and battery report at 844 Beacon Street. Upon arrival, officer was greeted by the victim, Gokai Goktug, who stated that about 1:15 a.m. on this day, he was at 5 Lansdowne Street, Boston, Bill's Bar. The victim, Goktug, stated that it it was closing time and he was about to leave the bar with his friends when the bouncer aggressively demanded him to leave and got on the victim's face. The victim stated that the bouncer started pushing him to get him out of the bar and that he pushed the bouncer off because he did not agree on how the bouncer was handling the situation. The victim stated that 4 more bouncers surrounded him and started yelling and pushing him. The victim stated that he lost his balance and fell backwards. At this time, the victim grabbed one of the bouncers by the shirt to avoid hurting himself. While on the ground, the victim felt a kick on the left side of his head and almost lost consciousness. Officer Margotto observed that the left side of the victim's head was scraped and swollen. The victim said that his friends and other bystanders tried to keep the bouncers away from him. And when he got up from the ground, the bar manager helped him with ice packs and apologized for what happened. The victim said that after the bar manager went back inside the Bill's bar, about 5 males, including the first bouncer mentioned, came from an alleyway and surrounded him and his friends again with the intent to continue to fight. The victim said that he saw a police officer and stood close to the officer for his safety. At this time, all 5 males left the premises. The victim said that he does not know any of the aggressors or parties involved. The victim said that he went to Mass General Brigham at 1285 Beacon Street, Brookline, to be evaluated and treated. The victim said that he's still feeling nauseous and dizzy. Officer Margotto provided the incident number to the victim and body-worn camera was activated.
Thank you very much. Attorney Quilty, would you like to address the alleged incident? Oh, Lieutenant Troy, do you have?
Yes, I do. There's an additional report, the license premise from Detective Lumbum, who was unfortunately called in Boston Municipal Court today, and it reads as follows. At 3:30 p.m. on January 24th, Detectives Lumbum and O'Connor issued a license premise violation to Bill's Bar at 9 Lansdowne Street relative to a previous assault and battery report, which was filed on January 20th, 2024. The license premise violation was issued in hand to Lindsay D'Souza, manager of the Concord Entertainment Group, which owns the establishment. That's the extent of that report.
Thank you very much.
If I
Attorney
may-
Quilty, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, if I may just in reverse order, if I could just ask Lieutenant Detective Troy, with regard to the, before you just read that incident report stated that management cooperated with the police, is that correct?
That's correct, and it's noticed on the license premise violation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And Officer Margotto, if I may, you responded to 844 Beacon Street the following day. Is 844 Beacon Street the residence of this person, Mr. Goktug?
Correct. That was where I met with the victim to write the report.
Right, so the incident, whatever it is that he told you happened the night before, is that correct?
Correct. Like about 1:15 in the morning.
Right, and this was like 2:45 in the afternoon.
I believe so.
Okay, and so you have no personal knowledge of what occurred with regard to Mr. Goktug. You just took a statement from his telling you what happened.
That is correct.
Okay. And he didn't, it appears that he was unable to identify anybody having struck him or pushed him or anything like that. Is that correct?
Correct. According to the report, he did not know any of the parties involved.
Okay. Do you, while speaking to him, it's apparent from the report that there were police on the scene. Did Mr. Goktag ask or tell you why he didn't approach any of those officers to tell them anything or ask their help?
No, he did not mention. He just stated that there was a police officer nearby and he approached the officer for his safety.
Okay. But he didn't recall telling the officer what had happened? Or he didn't say that to you anyway?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Officer Margotto. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, may I inquire of the licensee witnesses? Yeah, yes, okay, thank you. If I may, Mr. Chuga, Anthony Chuga is with us. Anthony, having been sworn in, first of all, you're muted. Unmute yourself, please. Thank you.
I'm here.
Having been sworn, just identify yourself. What's your name? What's your responsibility at Bill's Bar?
My name is Anthony Chuga. I'm one of the managers for the Lansdowne Pub and Bill's Bar.
And were you in that employ on the night in question? Were you manager of Bill's Bar on the night in question?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And at some point in the evening, were you called upon to ask some certain people to leave the establishment?
Yeah, so protocol 145, that's when we close up, last call, everyone leaves the building. Security just makes their announcements and everyone heads towards the exits.
And what on this night, did anything atypical happen? Did anything unusual happen?
So I was waiting for the cash outs from the bar. The security was doing their rounds, asking people to leave the building per usual. And suddenly I just hear commotion. I hear commotion on the Bill's side ramp. So I run over and I see this guy tussling with one of my door guys. My door guy's trying to just bring his arms down because he has his hands above his head, trying to swing at my door guy. And like I said, he's continuing to just put his hands down, trying to get his hand. And they out of the building, and it kind of spills over to the street. Then I come in and I get everyone, I pull everyone off the kid, because he's now down. Sorry, forgive me. I'm gonna just move for a second.
You're muted
Sorry
again.
about that. Sorry about that. Just some construction nearby. But so I told security, there's police on the street. I'll talk to the police. Everybody go back inside. We have to reset the building. And everyone went inside as soon as I asked them to. These guys were exclaiming that they were going to wait for my security staff. I'm telling the guy, like, listen, this isn't necessary. The police are right there. If you guys are going to continue to be like this, they're probably going to begin arresting people. I did notice the guy was just red in the face. I don't know if it was from the tussling or what, but I told him I could call an ambulance. He said he wouldn't be there for it. He wouldn't.
You're breaking.
Yeah,
We lost you.
Mr. Chuga, we lost you entirely.
A rag with some ice, and he said sure. So I ran back in the building. I see one of his buddies, and he goes, "Oh yeah, he's waiting nearby. I'll make sure he gets to the ice." And I go, "Okay, I'm sorry that it went down like this. I don't get why it had to go this way. Have a good night. If you guys need anything, we're here all the time." The police didn't come over. They were on the street. I'm not sure if they were already in the area doing a beat or what it was, but they were already on the street. So by the time they got out of the car, they were just telling people to go home.
Okay. So in your opinion, was this a matter of a certain patron or patrons simply not wanting to leave at closing time?
Yeah,
And in the tussle,
he didn't want to leave because his friends were finishing up a drink. I'm sorry?
okay, that's all I asked you. Is that what you think happened? He just didn't want to leave?
Yes.
Okay. And in this tussle you described, your personnel were pushed and shoved and knocked to the ground as well. Is that correct?
Correct. There was another group that I tried to hold back. They said, "That's my boy, that's my boy." And I told them, listen, they're going to just walk him out the building. He's being aggressive. And then they all kind of just forcibly pushed past me and pushed the door guys out the door. And that's why it spilled over onto the street.
Okay. And your personnel were pushed and fell in that same incident. Is that correct?
Yeah, if it wasn't for the guys pushing through me, then they wouldn't have pushed through. It was three of them. They pushed through me and then they pushed the security, and that's why it pushes out onto the street.
Okay. And was Mr. Miller's with us today? Was Mr. Miller there on the street at the same time?
Yeah, Mr. Miller and I were actually exchanging words, trying to make sure, all right, I'll do this, you do that. And then literally as soon as we hear commotion, we run to the front and we witness all of it.
Okay.
And we
Alright.
kind of just try to get in and our like separate things, but it was a group of guys, a couple of our security staff, and we're just trying to make sure that no one gets hurt. There's still other patrons trying to get out of the way, so we're making sure that they're able to get out the way. And then when these group of guys push past me, that's when the entire team just kind of gets shoved right out the door by these other guys.
And during this, or at some point in this, matter, if you will, the Boston Police were on scene. There were police officers there.
Correct.
And did you interface with them? Did you speak to them?
I was expecting to, and they literally just came by and just said, "Everyone go inside if you're working. If you don't work here, then just leave and go home."
Okay, and at that point, did this other group, Mr. Guttag or his friend, did they then leave?
From what I understand, a lot of people stood around and were just kind of saying that, "Oh, we're gonna wait here. We're gonna wait here. We have the right to stand on the sidewalk." And at that point, I just made sure that my entire staff was inside the building.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Chuga. The board may have some questions for you.
Absolutely.
And if I may I just inquire briefly of Mr. Miller? Yes, thank you. Wayne, you're muted as well. Wayne, can you unmute
Mr.
yourself?
Miller, I've just asked you to unmute. Something should have popped up on your screen.
Yeah, I'm on mute now.
There
How
you
you
are. There you are. And again, similarly to Mr. Chuga, you've been sworn in. Just state your name for the record and what your job responsibilities are at Bill's Bar.
My name is Wayne Miller, and I'm a manager at Bill's Bar and Lansdowne Pub.
Okay, and were you present on the night that was just described by Mr. Chuga?
Yes, I was. I was standing right next to Chuga at the time.
Okay, and do you have anything to add other than this person not wanting to leave? Do you have anything you can add to the board as to what occurred here?
I don't. He actually described the situation perfectly
Okay.
for what we dealt with that night.
Okay, and were you involved? Did you get pushed and shoved yourself?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I ended up in the middle of it.
Okay, all right. And you then, did you at the same time then, Mr. Chuga suggested when the Boston Police said, everybody leave, go home, the workers go inside, is that what occurred? In the
Yeah, I
incident?
started grabbing all my guys and physically pushing them inside and telling them all to go inside because while Chuga was talking to the other patrons, I grabbed our guys and made sure that they all got inside and finished making sure everybody got in the building.
Okay, and then to the best of your knowledge, did the rest of those folks end up leaving the area? The people, Mr. Guttag?
I believe so. I went in the building as soon as everything happened. I believe that they left, but there were a lot of people standing on the sidewalk, like Chuga said.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Again, the board may have questions for either one of you. Just stand by. Thank you, ma'am.
I have no questions.
Commissioner Kern or Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
Was there any video preserved of this?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, there is indeed, Commissioner, we will provide that. Katina, you have the video, correct?
Yep, we have
Mhm.
3 different angles. Unfortunately, the video itself, where the initial altercation took place, you don't actually see that. You see the main floor of Bill's Bar. You see people running towards the ramp that leads to the main entrance or exit. Then you see a group kind of getting pushed up the ramp and then out the door onto the street. So we have 3 different angles. Unfortunately, again, you don't actually see the initial interaction, but you see pretty much everything else that both Mr. Chuga and Mr. Miller described.
And we'll provide that to
Yes. I'll send it to
Attorney Green
Danny.
today.
Thank
The
you.
way I normally do. Yep.
What happened with the initial? Did it happen in an area of no coverage or?
Yeah, there wasn't any coverage. You didn't actually see where the cameras are and where they were in the in bills, you can't actually see them interact. It is my understanding, again, I know Terrell Bradshaw, who was one of the security staff people, who was supposed to be here today, but
He's
for
here-
some
he's
reason
here now.
isn't. Oh,
He's here now.
oh, so maybe he
see him.
should make his statement because he was the one who interacted with the
Yeah, I made the initial
victim.
contact with the patron.
Yeah.
Sorry, one moment,
Yeah.
sir. You have not been sworn in yet. If you could
Yeah,
please.
sorry, Terrell, you gotta get sworn in.
No, worries. Thanks, Katina, for letting us know that he has arrived. If you could please just identify yourself for the board and then also have you sworn in.
Good morning. My name is Terrell Bradshaw.
Thank you, Mr. Bradshaw. Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can please continue with your testimony.
So I'm the initial security guy I made the initial contact with the patron. We were at closing time, and I was the guy who initially told him, like, hey, you gotta go. Our building is now closing. Everyone's evacuating. So he had like this demeanor, like, oh, me and my guys are just gonna stay right here. Like, we're not going anywhere. I'm like, unfortunately, sir, yes, you have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to go. So he had like made like a stand, like, no, I'm out of here. So then I'm not sure if he made initial physical, like he tried like kind of like a chest bump, like, like, nah, me and my guys are staying right here. So he was the only one out of the group that was really belligerent. You know what I'm saying? Everyone else was just finishing their drinks, heading back to the bar, putting their cups and their bottles and stuff down. And so I make the gesture to get him out of the door, but then he started frailing his hands, like, he tried to make a big scene. And then other security guards, other building people helped me get him out the door. When we get to the door, his buddies intervene, and then I don't know if you guys can see that, but you see like my shoe, like I even fell out of my shoe, like I tussled into the street from the situation from his friends intervening. And then as I'm finishing up from the tussle, I get up. Tony has us all go back inside, and then that was the ending of the situation.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mr. Bradshaw. Appreciate it. And again, the board may have some additional questions.
Yeah, Commissioner Carmen, did you have any further questions following?
No, actually, one question was who might have been there initially, so that answered it. Thank you.
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. And Chairman Joyce, no questions from you?
No questions.
Thank you. With that, the board will take this under advisement. We'll be on the lookout for those videos and I'll make sure that those are shared with the board.
Thank you. We'll have that over today.
Thank you. Calling item number 2, Food House Inc. doing business as Friendship BBQ Alston, located at 103 Brighton Ave in Alston. Date of the incident, April 27th, 2024, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, a bottle. Patron on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 15A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Hello. Good morning, Attorney Green, members of the board. Carolyn Conway on behalf of the licensee, and also with me is the owner manager, Solim Ting.
Thank you very much. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
I believe Sergeant Haran is here. If he's not, Lieutenant Detective Troy.
Thank you. Do not see the sergeant with us. Oh, thank you, Lieutenant Troy. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Thank you. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Sorry, I didn't hear you, Mr. Ting.
Yeah, yes, I do.
Great. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Troy. You've already been sworn in. If you could please proceed with the police report for the board.
Reading from a police report authored by Officer Nguyen. On April 27th, it reads as follows: about 8:04 p.m. on Saturday, April 27th, Officer Nguyen and Lennon responded to a fight at 103 Brighton Ave at the Friendly Barbecue restaurant. On arrival, officers observed a large crowd, people exiting the Friendly Barbecue restaurant, and several employees approached the officers and pointed to a few people in the crowd, but spoke in Chinese. Officers followed her to the restaurant, where we observed what looked like blood drops on the floor and red smears all over the wall and by the front checkout desk. The main dining room was in complete disarray. There were broken dishes, bottles, and food all over the floor and tables pushed around. The victim, Gao, was sitting at a bench on the far wall, bleeding profusely from a towel, with the towel wrapped around the top of their head. Officer Lennon attended to him immediately after calling EMS on the radio. She put pressure on the towel around his head to help control the bleeding. The victim started typing on his phone and stated that he was going to be posting to social media. He then yelled arrest and profanity. He started to touch Officer Lennon's radio and equipment, getting blood on her radio and uniform. Officer Lennon stayed with the victim until EMS arrived. Officers then talked to Gao's girlfriend, Lindsay Lau, who stated that her boyfriend is bipolar and was having a manic attack and was very aggressive towards everybody, but did not hit anybody. She stated that an older male wearing a leather coat and white t-shirt hit Gao on the head with a beer bottle, and there were several different groups of people in the restaurant that were hitting Gao. Officers saw several people outside, but nobody matching that description. Officer talked to several people outside and said that they were involved in the altercation. Most could not speak English. Chen Zhao said that he was involved from the beginning of the incident, which started when he tried to use the bathroom. He stated while he was attempting to open the bathroom door, it was locked, so he waited for the person inside to finish. When the person inside, Mr. Gao, came out, he was very agitated and started swearing at him and became very aggressive and threatening, threatening Zhao's elder mother and other people in the restaurant. Zhao said that he did not remember exactly what happened after that, but he found himself on the floor with Gao on top of him and hitting him. Zhao stated that he was trying to defend himself and was grabbing anything he could get his hands on to hit Gao and get him off. His friend, Michael Shi, was also there in the restaurant during the incident, agreed with Zhao's statements but did not add anything more. Sergeant Curvin and Officer Lennon blocked the sidewalk area in front of the restaurant with crime scene tape to prevent anyone from entering the restaurant. District 14 detectives came and photographed the scene and conducted their investigation. The victim, Gao, was taken to Beth Israel for lacerations to his head and face area, along with several other injuries. Officer Allen followed the victim to the hospital. Sergeant Curvin conducted a code 35 and body-worn cameras were activated. I think that's the extent of that report. I'm not sure if there's a secondary one here.
One moment.
Sergeant Haran also has a report here which it reads the same, and it just notes that Mr. Zhao will be summoned to Brighton Court for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. If you'd like, I can read that entire report.
We do not have that additional report, so.
Oh, sorry, it's a supplemental report, complaint. I'm sorry if you don't have that.
Is it the one with Detective John Horan at the beginning?
Yeah, Detective.
I do have that
Oh,
one.
we do have that. Yep, thank you.
Okay, I'll read it. So Detective John Horan, assigned to District 14 Detective Unit, was assigned the incident of assault and battery dangerous weapon bottle at 103 Brighton Ave, the Friendly Barbecue Restaurant. On speaking with the victim, Mr. Gao, it was learned that he was in the Friendly Barbecue Restaurant with his girlfriend, Miss Lau, when somebody tried to come in. He stated that he was upset that the person was trying to get into the restroom, and when he came out, he began to have words with them. The male trying to get into the bathroom was identified as Mr. Zhao. Mr. Gao stated to the detective that the argument was his fault and he was rude to the suspect and the people in his party, but it never got physical. Video obtained from the Friendly Barbecue Restaurant showed that the victim Gao was arguing with the group gathered to have dinner. Mr. Gao can be seen in the video being restrained by his girlfriend, Miss Lau, as he continues to have words with members of the group. Mr. Gao at one point pushes past Miss Lau and gets face-to-face with party member Michael Shi. As the two get face-to-face, Mr. Gao is hit on the left side of the head by the suspect Zhao with a beer bottle from the table he is standing next to. At this time, a fight between the victim and the suspect ensues. An elderly Asian female with black and gray hair begins to batter the victim with several items from the table. The suspect Zhao continues to fight with the victim Gao as several people are caught up in the fight and trying to break it up. The detective spoke with the suspect, Mr. Zhao, who stated that he was in the restaurant with his family when he attempted to enter the bathroom. Mr. Zhao stated that when he attempted to get in, someone in the bathroom yelled out to him that the bathroom was taken. Mr. Zhao stated that he went and paid his check and then returned to the bathroom. He assumed that the person was done in an attempt to open the door. At this time, Mr. Gao came out of the bathroom and started to have words with Mr. Zhao over the attempts to get into the bathroom. Mr. Zhao stated that Gao began yelling at him and his family, calling them foul names and yelling threats. Mr. Zhao stated that Gao's girlfriend attempted several times to get him to sit down and stop yelling, but she was not able to get him to stop. Mr. Zhao stated that Mr. Gao at this time approached a member of the group like he was going to fight, so he hit the victim with something from the table and began fighting with him. Detective Haran attempted several times to get the name of the elderly female in Mr. Zhao's party, but he would only give the name of she. Mr. Zhao is to be summoned to Brighton Court for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, with a bottle. That's the extent of that report.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Troy. Attorney Conway, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, Lieutenant Troy, if I may, the license premise violation indicates that the licensee was cooperative with this
Yeah.
case.
Yes, it indicates that they were.
Yes, if I may, members of the board, Mr. Ting was not there that night. This is something that was an unfortunate incident where this gentleman just kind of lost control and the rest did. Our people came from, out from behind the counters and everything to stop the incident, and also called the police. And they kept the people there so that they could get medical attention and were cooperative. It's just one of those things that happened that it just blew up out of all of a sudden. The whole incident probably lasted less than a minute and a half, but there was overreaction by the patrons that happened here. We're not normally a place. This is just a little small restaurant, and we don't normally have any kind of incidents whatsoever. We're going back. We're training our employees to make sure, but we do know that they were the ones who immediately called the police and assisted all the victims that were on the premises.
Thank you. We'll see if there are any questions with that. Chairwoman Joyce, any questions?
Thank you. Will you be able to forward the video to us, Attorney?
Yes.
Also, the slip says that patron called the police. Are you saying that the staff called the police that night?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the staffing that night. And nowhere in the police report does it state that staff intervened at all. So I'm getting a picture of a crazy fight between patrons with no one helping out.
You will see in the video, our staff person is in a green and white checkered shirt. That is the person. You can see him get into the middle of it immediately as it happened and was separating the parties. And also our understanding is that Mr. Ting, you can address this as well, that we called the police.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. We called the police. I mean, my staff was right in the front of the entire fight. We're trying to hold it back. It shows clearly in the video that we really try to prevent this entire process. And we are the one who end up notifying the police regarding this incident.
How many staff were working on this night?
There were 3 in the dining area, and there were 4 in the kitchen area.
And how many of those staff members saw the fight happen?
Everybody did.
Okay, so maybe the video will give me more information. Attorney, you said that they retrained the staff. What did that include?
Well, that includes making sure that, again, we re-emphasize that people are to call the police. This was not, if you'll see the police report, it didn't appear to be alcohol involved in this. It just that the gentleman had an unfortunate mental fitness incident and was very aggressive, and people responded.
Mr. Ting, I know you weren't there that night, but your attorney's saying that staff was retrained. Did you participate in that training? This was an April incident, so can you give me some idea about this training?
We went to like the usual training in regards to how to monitor the entire alcohol, like the tips training, and then we keep the bottle count, and then it's just a regular training that we always do.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Yeah, I'll wait on the video. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I'll write on the video. I'm curious on how he actually got hurt. I mean, I know he was acting irate, but.
Yeah, the incident actually was resolved, and then they came back. It shows in the video clearly. We'll send it over immediately to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions from the board? Great, please do share that video with us. I'll make sure that it is distributed to the commissioners as soon as I receive it. With that, the board will take this under advisement for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 3, ZAA KFL LLC, doing business as Biliaris Columbia, located at 28 Bennington Street in East Boston. Date of the incident, June 22nd, 2024. Assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning. Hi, how are you? Good morning.
Morning, thank you. If you could please just identify yourselves for the board.
Nombre. Laura Pereañez. Carney Pereañez.
Great, thank you both. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective Eduardo Espino.
Thank you, Detective. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Great, can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you, Detective Espino. If you could please read the police report into the record for the board.
Yes, sir. I'll be reading police report 242-051-326. About 7:40 p.m. on Saturday, 6/22/2024, Officer Nasir and Nepocino Mateo in the Gold 201 Frank responded to a radio call for assault and battery in progress, ABIP at Biliaris Columbia at 30 Bennington Street, East Boston. Other units responding with the Gold 101 Frank Hampton Biggio, Gold 421 Frank De Jesus, and Sergeant Chickaluk, the Gold 904. Upon arrival, officers spoke with the victims, Cruz Rogelio, date of birth 9/16/74, and Edward Manfredo Perez, date of birth 2/17/88. Both stated they were assaulted by John Yaro Alvarez Herrera, date of birth 9/26/69, who is the bouncer of Biliaris Columbia, located at the address listed above. Rogelio and Perez said they were at the bar. At some point, they refused to serve them, and they were asked to leave the premise, which they refused to do. The bouncer, Herrera, grabbed them by the arms and started to fight back. Both of them were punched by Herrera. Rogelio was punched in the face, and Perez was hit in the mouth. Officers observed the injuries. Both parties refused EMS on scene. Herrera said Rogelio and Perez were being kicked out of the bar because they were intoxicated and still wanted more drinks. They started to act erratic and cursing the bartender. Herrera said he punched both of them in self-defense because they got upset and were about to hit him with a chair. It should be noted that Rogelio and Perez appeared to be intoxicated while speaking with officers. Their speeches were slurred and they could barely walk. Sergeant Chickaluk, Gold 904, responded to the scene and issued a Code 35 citation for staff on patron A and B, citation number 026660. Pictures of the victim's injuries were attached, body-worn cameras were activated. And that's the end of the case report.
Thank you very much. Mr. Peranias, Ms. Peranias, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, I would. On that, good morning, everybody from the chairman. On that day, what happened was two patrons came in. They tried to get a drink. It was really early. We were just starting our night, opening the night. And when they came in, they said, can we get you a drink? We said, no, we can't serve you because first of all, you guys are very drunk. So would you please leave the premises? And then they started saying to the girls, swearing at them, telling all these things. That's when Mr. John came in because he wasn't still on duty. He was just walking in, and one of the patrons grabbed a chair to try to throw it to the girl, and that's when he had to grab them because they were very rude. At the same time, because there was two of them, he was by himself, and the rest was only girls. So he tried to pull them out so they can go out to the street, and that's all. But there was never no punches. I think the guy did himself with the chair. He tried to pick the chair up to throw it at the bar back. But there was no incident with us. We were barely just opening because we usually open at 4, but our staff, all the other girls come in at 7. So it was literally just starting to open, and there was nobody in the premises. So on that incident, I spoke to the detective. I brought him the video, and everything was there, and saw that. He even told me, he said, don't worry, you're all set, because you could see they had not been served not even one drink. They were just trying to come in the premises, and we couldn't do nothing about it. And as I said, there was only all girls. The only one that was there, Mr. Herrera, there was 2 of them, and they did pick up a chair. I did send the video to the officer. They picked up the chair, and that's when he had to do something just to protect the girls.
Thank you. Anything further you or Ms. Brianos would like to tell the board before we move to questions?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, Chairman Joyce, any questions?
We do have the video. Thank you for sending it. Is your staff in the black shirt with the baseball hat?
I think there is. I don't recall it.
Okay.
He's not the one with the chair on the hand. That I know for a fact.
Okay.
But no. I think he was literally just walking in. If you see him, he's walking in. He's telling him you got to leave. But I think he always wears a hat, so it should be him. But the one with the chair is the other guys.
Okay. All right. I have no questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, none from me. Thank you.
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. The board will take this matter under advisement.
Thank you.
Item number 4, which concerns the same licensee, ZAA KFL LLC, doing business as Baleares Columbia, located at 28 Bennington Street in East Boston. Date of this incident, August 18th, 2024, a bottle service violation in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? So.
Laura
Prianis.
Thank you very much. Who's present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
I am Detective Hernandez.
Thank you, Detective. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, if need be.
Thank you. Mr. and Ms. Brianos, you've already been sworn in. Detective Hernandez, Sergeant Detective Gallagher, could you please raise your right hands? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Detective Hernandez, if you could please read the police report into the record for the board.
Good morning. I'll be reading from a police report, which I wrote on Sunday, August 18, 2024. Sergeant Detective William Gallagher and Detective Eddie Hernandez assigned to the BPD license premise unit conducted a license premise inspection of Baleares Columbia restaurant. This inspection was also to speak to staff regarding multiple noise complaints that were being received. As detectives stood across the street, they could easily hear loud amplified music, a disc jockey emanating from inside the premise going out onto the street and the abutting neighborhood. Detective Hernandez and Sergeant Gallagher utilized the sound meters and recorded an average decibel reading of 61 decibels. Detectives made note of the time as at approximately 11:20 p.m. Boston noise ordinance states that decibels may not exceed 50 decibels after 11 p.m. While walking through the establishment, detectives observed patrons sitting at multiple tables with crafts of aguardiente, an alcohol spirit, placed in ice buckets. These bottles were left unattended and made available for self-service access to make beverages. Detectives informed the person in charge, Mr. John Alvarez, that this is a prohibited practice. Mr. Alvarez stated he would immediately correct the situation. As a result of what detectives observed, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued license and premise inspection notice 017832 for bottle service violation, unattended bottles of alcohol on table, and loud amplified music emanating beyond the premise with an average decibel reading of 61 decibels.
Mr. Alvarez signed for accepted notice. It should be noted this establishment was issued a violation of bottle service conditions on May 2nd, 2004 for having a customer pouring his own drinks. See incident number 242-038-570, violation 018-023. That's all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Perennials. Ms. Perennials, would you like to address this alleged incident?
Yes, first on the noise complaint, good morning, Mr. Hernandez, Officer Hernandez. I want to ask you, have we, Dallas Columbia or Zach FL, have we tried to reach you multiple times and called you without you knowing, just calling you on the random to show you about the noise and the problem that we've been having, that it's not really our problem, and we try to address it and fix it, Mr. Hernandez?
Well, you have sent us decibel readings. You've texted us decibel readings that your staff is taking on various nights. Yes, you have you've sent that to us.
Okay, and also on that occasion and on multiple occasions, or after that, I explained to you that we were just teaching our girls about the bottles, and then we did discuss that we put sometimes crafts, which are just water, not bottles but crafts, just to show that table is reserved, and we did talk about it, right? I just want to show for the record.
You have told me that sometimes there is water in those. That wasn't the case that night, but if you're gonna, and I told you, remember, I told you that if you are gonna put water in them, you should use something different.
Yeah, that's and after that night, that's what we started doing. Now we don't put it on those crafts. We put on something else just to reserve the VIP to show, and that's it. Because it's bad to say, but right now what moves everything is the media, and if you put that everything's reserved, everybody wants to come in, and that's a way that we try to say, oh look, everything's reserved, and everybody, oh, I want a table, I need a table. So we do it just to show, but we have changed that. We have changed those crafts to show something else, so that if any day you guys come in, you guys can go see it and see that it's not alcohol. So we have to measures on those, because I did speak to you about it. And you know, every time I speak to you, I do my things right. Every time you ask me, I do it right away.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. We'll see if there are any questions from the board. Chairwoman Joyce.
I have no questions.
Commissioner
Thanks.
Curran.
But on this night, there was aguardiente on the tables in Cariff, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Saxon.
No questions, thank you.
Just for the record, but we had a meeting, and as I promised the board last time, we were doing the tips certificate. You guys want to see them? I could send them. All the girls right now have done everything on point, so they know now they can't do that, and we have changed the crafts to show something different, just for the record.
What do you mean you've changed the crafts?
It's just that there's certain crafts that when the officer walks in, they see it and they think automatically it's aguardiente, which it used to be. But now we put something else, like different cups, just so they don't seem to look like aguardiente. There's no aguardiente in there. It's just water.
So you're saying the crafts are water?
No, now we don't have one on the crafts.
Okay.
That's.
Thank you. Anything further from the board on this matter? Great. The board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.
And you. Calling item number 5, Solmona Sports Association, located at 26 Fleet Street. Date of the incident, August 16th, 2024. Overcrowding, 71 on count. Capacity 49, house count 48. In violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.03J and 1.06A and F. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Matthew Matarazzo.
Thank you, Mr. Matarazzo. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify?
The Detective Hernandez if needed.
Thank you very much. Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, if you could please read the report into the record for the board.
Yes, good morning. So I'll be reading from the Boston Police Incident Report that I wrote on 8/16/2024 at 10 p.m. Sergeant Detective William Gallagher and Sergeant Zach Crossan of Area A1 conducted a licensed premise inspection of Simona Sports Club at 26 Fleet Street. As detectives entered the premise, they observed it to be quite crowded, patrons taking up most of the floor space. Sergeant Detective Gallagher conducted a mechanical count, which resulted in 71 persons being found. The listed capacity of the premise is 49. Detectives brought their findings to the person in charge, Mr. Matty Matarazzo, who stated he would bring the premise into compliance. As a result, what detectives had observed, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued license premise inspection notice number 021020 the Simona Sports Club for overcrowding, 71 mechanical count, capacity 49. Mr. Matty Matarazzo signed for, accepted the notice. That's what we have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matarazzo. Would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, we were overcapacitated and I took care of it right away. I closed at 11, it pushed everybody out before 11, closed up, and the next night I had multiple securities inside and outside, ushering people in and out.
Thank you very much. Anything further?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. I will see if there are any questions from the board at this time. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. I know this was a special event license, but what was your staffing on that night? Was there someone working the door, keeping account?
I had a door, I had a outside corral, that gate had a security at the main door, one security inside and 2 bartenders and a bar back.
Okay, thank you for that. Next year, if you apply for the same license, just be sure to submit an operations plan to us addressing the security and how you're gonna keep count of the door, because that really, you really were overcrowded as you admitted. I have no other questions right now.
No questions.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. The board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And calling item number 6, Causeway Union LLC, doing business as Loyal 9, located at 17 Union Street. Date of the incident, June 13th, 2024. Assault and battery on premise in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. The board held an initial hearing on this matter on August 20th and requested a second hearing to ensure the participation of the licensed premises management and ownership. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Yes, Carolyn Conway on behalf of the licensee, and with me, Mr. Derek Brady.
Thank you very much. And who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Nancy Salucci.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, if need be.
Thank you. Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, sir.
I do.
Thank you very much. And Chairman Joyce, having already heard the initial report on August 20th, do you want the initial report read back into the record or just the supplemental report the board received after the hearing?
Just a supplemental report is fine, thanks.
Great. Thank you very much. If you could please proceed.
Okay, this is Sergeant Detective Salucci. I will read into the for the record, I'm sorry, the supplemental report. It is a lengthy, I'll warn you. On 5/28 of 24, a video of a male and female involved in a physical altercation was sent to me for further investigation, as the video was identified to be domestic partners involved in a fight. This video was furnished to the Boston Police Department from an anonymous source, along with the following caption. Attached is a video of Raji Pine, the GM of Loyal 9 and partner in Causeway Restaurant Group, beating his girlfriend in the office, kicking, punching, spitting, and throwing her downstairs where she cracks her head open. The staff has stood against this once revealed and called for his termination. He has since deleted part of the footage and terminated employees, end quote. Upon further investigation of this incident, the parties involved have been identified as Raji Pine with a date of birth of 10/23/76 and his significant other, Raina Tessier, date of birth 9/2/97. The video was confirmed to have occurred at Loyal 9 at 17 Union Street on 6/13/24 and documented in a prior report. Upon confirming the location and parties involved on 6/13, further investigation commenced to confirm the identity of Raina Tesser, who was identified only as Raina during the prior visit on 6/13. The on-duty manager on 6/13 stated that she only worked there for that night. Further conversations with another manager, Brendan McLaughlin, confirmed the woman to be Raina Tessier, who was also identified through a query of Boston Police Mark 43 persons profiles, which revealed only 3 females named Raina. Due to this limited field of individuals, a CGIS search also confirmed the identity of Raina Rosalind Tessier, who appeared to be the same woman appeared in the video. The video is less than 2 minutes long and immediately shows at 0.11 seconds Raji Pine pulling up Raina Tessier from behind while her facial expression suggests she's in pain as she grabs her right forearm, which is wrapped around her head. Tessier's eyes and facial expression during this time are of great concern as she appears to be struggling to breathe, pulling his arms away from her neck as she struggles to get away from Pine. For approximately 10 seconds, Tessier disappears from the camera view, but Pine swings his left arm in Tessier's direction, presumably striking her again. At approximately 35 seconds, Raina breaks away from Pine and attempts to run out of the office through the only accessible door within the office, but Pine grabs her from behind, wrapping his arms around her waist at first, but then wraps his right forearm around her neck and pulls her backwards, causing her to fall. While both parties are on the ground at the entryway to the office, Pine is struggling to keep Tessier there as she continues to try and break free from Pine. At 1 minute and 9 seconds, Tessier reaches to her right arm and grabs a box, which she swings at Pine in an attempt to break free again. But the struggle ensues until 1 minute and 33 seconds when Tessier is able to get to her feet. She begins to walk away, at which time she throws a trash can and kicks Pine. Pine then gets to his feet and chases Tessier as she runs away. Unfortunately, the video is the only information that was readily available to officers. Despite several attempts to get more information from Loyal 9 and the owners of such licensed premise, no further video has been furnished. On 6/25, a phone interview was conducted with Raina to inquire about the incident. Ms. Tessier was upset to hear that the video went to the police and that no one confronted her about the incident. Ms. Tessier confirmed the incident did occur at Loyal 9 on 5/14 after midnight. I advised Ms. Tessier that I was a sergeant detective assigned to the domestic violence unit and was following up on the matter to ensure her safety, advise her of her 209A rights, and inquire on what transpired on 5/14 at approximately 12:26 a.m. Tessier immediately stated that Raji was the manager of Loyal 9 and, quote, "We went out, we were drinking and wasted." Tessier stated, quote, "She hadn't eaten all day while at the bar. I was mad that they were offering me shots. They weren't offering me shots, so I was upset," end quote. Another quote, "I went back to the bar. He was trying to stop me from going upstairs to confront a woman," end quote. Tessier went on to state, "I've been with Raji for 4 years. We live together and he's never been physical." Tessier was very upset about the video and information sent to the police stating that she was fine. She didn't want Raji to be in any trouble as it was her fault and that Mike McCoy may have filmed it and sent it out. Tessier stated she was aware of the video and had seen parts. At this time, I requested that Tessier meet with me to review the video I had as well as the video she had, and we could discuss what occurred. Tessier declined to meet. Inquiries made to reveal further video from several affiliates of Loyal 9 have resulted in have yielded negative results. I've reached out to the following who have failed to furnish any videos or further information despite the fact that they are all aware of the matter. First person was in charge, Chris Martinez, who states he does not have access to videos. Martinez furnished the name of Brendan McLaughlin, who furnished no videos, but later confirmed Raina's last name is Tessier. The licensing board furnished common Whistler alcohol license number, which states the manager as John Kaczynski. However, when I contacted him on 6/26/24, he stated that he sold out of that company in December of 2023. Kaczynski then provided Derek Brady as being the manager now. On 6/27/24, I spoke to Mr. Brady, who has yet to provide any further information and or video. Tessier was advised, due to safety concerns and domestic assaults observed in the video, the matter would be turned over to Boston Municipal Court and the suspect to be charged with A&B on a family and household member, as well as strangulation.
Thank you very much, Sergeant Detective. The board may have some questions for you, but first I'll see if Attorney Conway would like to address what was in the report read into the record by Sergeant Detective Salucci.
Well, Detective Salucci, it's basic to say that Ms. Tessier did not want to press charges in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And she did not want to have anything to do with any police proceedings. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Do you have any questions of Mr. Brady or anything you would like to present to the board before we move to questions?
The only thing I would like to say is I did speak with Ms. Salucci on this matter, and I gave her Raina Tessier's phone number. That's all that she had asked me for. If she had asked me for more video, I would have given it. I assumed that she had all the video, and that was what this was about. So I was cooperative. I don't know what else I could have done in the situation.
Well, Mr. Brady, can you tell us, please, when you first learned about this incident?
Yeah, so Jay Kaczynski, he sent me the video and said, hey, this is something that you should look into and address. I think it was the day after the incident. It may have been two, but probably the day after. As soon as the incident got to my viewing, I immediately interviewed the two parties.
Did you interview them together or separately?
Individually. Both of these people are friends of mine. I've known them since they've been together. They worked for me at another establishment in Newton, and after they worked for me there, they got together in a relationship. I'm personal friends with both of them. We spend time together. We vacation together. So it was pretty easy for me to get a real good read on what happened in the incident, and from their perspective, they were embarrassed by it and they didn't want it to be escalated. They said they were acting foolishly because they had too much to drink, and they were hoping that this could just go away with no escalation. So after interviewing both of them and talking to them, I even went a step further and had a common girlfriend interview or talk to her and just make sure everything was okay. And again, she was assured, hey, look, we had too much to drink. We were acting foolishly. We're embarrassed by this. We hope it goes away. So that was the extent of the interviews I had with them. And, when they both didn't want anything to come of this, I just assumed that this would be the best route of action, is to try to help your friend and basically not talk more of it or escalate it any more than it already was.
Anything further, Attorney Conway or Mr. Brady?
Not at this time, no.
Thank you. We'll turn it over to the board then. Chairman Joyce, any questions?
Yes, I do. Mr. Brady, who told you about the video?
Jay Kaczynski, he's the manager on record.
Jason, so we have him down as Jason Kaczynski?
Yes.
Okay. When he was contacted by Sergeant Salucci, he said he was no longer involved in the business. How did he get a copy of the video?
He has access to the cameras. I don't know how he got informed by it. I didn't ask. I just immediately went on to speak to the parties involved.
So was he at this time involved in the business?
I mean, we're all still involved in the business until I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys know, we're actively seeking to sell the business. So.
Okay, it just seemed he said Sergeant Salucci, when you spoke to Mr. Kaczynski, and I apologize for the pronunciation, did he say he was no longer involved?
Yes, ma'am. he stated that he sold out of that business in December of 2023.
Okay. So who was actually in charge on this particular day, Mr. Brady?
Brendan McLaughlin was the manager the night of the incident.
But who was the manager of record?
Jake Kaczynski's the manager of record.
Okay, but he was not involved since December.
The business right now is about to be sold, so there's a lot of people that are jumping
I
ship.
understand. I mean, we've
Yeah.
all seen it in the news, but he's telling us he's not involved, but you're telling me he was the manager of record. When there is a change in the manager of record, you need to notify the board.
Of course,
I can only assume he doesn't want to take responsibility for the incident on this day.
I'm sure.
So his name is still the manager of record. And what was your role?
I'm a partner in the business.
Okay. So he was not manager of record, but he's still involved in the business, but he still had access to the cameras.
Yep.
Okay. And you went 6 months without an approved manager of record?
No, we did not.
Okay, he left in December. This incident was when?
He did not leave in December. He's been running the place
Is
probably all the way up
lied
until
to the
about
sergeant?
a month before that. He had been running the establishment all the way up until a month before that, where he took another job.
Okay. And who's Chris Martinez?
Chris Martinez. I don't know a Chris Martinez.
What was your involvement in the business? I mean, did
Me?
you know who was working that night? Were you involved in training staff?
I'm a minority
I know you were
partner.
there. I know you were there because we had gotten anonymous tips from people on Union Street that after this incident, you were working the door.
I was not working the door. That's okay though.
So what would you call your position?
I'm a minority owner.
Okay, did you work at this location?
Nope, I've
or
never worked
show
at
up
this
there after June or whenever this happened?
I've never worked in the establishment.
So when Sergeant Salucci asked you for additional video, did you provide it to her?
Sergeant Salucci never asked me for additional video.
Is there additional video available? Because all we have is like a small clip.
I have, I think, the same video that you have, and I'm willing to give it to you guys if you'd like it, of course.
Okay, it sounds like the sergeant asked several people for video, but no one turned it over. So where
I'll
is
send you
the
everything I
video?
have. Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
All right. So Sergeant Salucci, what has been your most recent interaction with the staff, the former staff at Loyal 9?
Really, my investigation actually concluded with Mr. Brady as the last person to reach out to, and he didn't have anything to say when I'd reached out to him in regards to this matter. He knew that the board was already aware of the investigation and it made a statement to the effect of he has nothing to say about it. So I'm not sure, you know, there was never any offer of any video. I don't believe I made a request if he had the video. I did ask him if he knew about the incident.
Okay. So it sounds like Mr. Kaczynski is the manager of record, was supposed to be in charge, that when he told the sergeant he wasn't in charge, he was not being truthful. Attorney Conway,
No.
who is in charge on this day?
Well, the premises is not operating.
I
and
understand, but on the day when this was operating, the transfer hasn't gone through, who was in charge? I asked you at the last hearing to bring somebody to this hearing who was in charge on that day. Mr. Brady's a minority partner and he doesn't work there. I want to know who's
Well, wait.
responsible on this night. Who should have called the police? You know, Mr. Brady said he's friends with both these people. He interviewed them, great, but from what I saw in the video, a crime occurred and the police should have been called. So I'm trying to figure out who's responsible.
Oh, well, the manager on record? Well, the manager that was there at the day of the incident was Brendan. Raji was the GM and Raji was the one involved.
So that's what I asked at the last hearing. Did Mr. Pine
We
work
brought
there?
Raji.
Said no.
We had Raji here to
Yeah,
testify.
Raji
at the
is
last
the
minute.
general manager, but he was involved in the incident, so
Oh, I know,
That's why
I
I
met
knew.
him at the last hearing, but I believe, I'll have to go back to the video, he said he was not an employee there, or at least not that night.
Yeah, he no longer works there, no.
Was he working that day?
No, he wasn't working that day. Brendan McLaughlin was the manager on duty. It was an off day. It wasn't a busy day there.
And Brendan's title is what?
Manager.
So who makes the decision when something happens at the bar, whether or not the police should be involved?
Well, usually the manager does, yeah.
Did you talk to Brendan about this?
I spoke to him about it. He said it was tougher to figure out exactly what had happened because it was downstairs and nobody was there that saw the incident. But after the fact, when the video was seen, yeah, it was he addressed it.
Is it true the entire staff quit the next day?
The staff, Brendan had mentioned to me that the staff didn't want to work for Raji anymore. The videos, I think, spread like wildfire. I'm sure it was Brendan that probably sent the video out to Jay and me and whoever else. So the staff had said they didn't want to work. And right away, I had said to Raji, hey, you can't work for us anymore.
He doesn't work at any of your other establishments?
No, he doesn't.
I'm actually left with more questions than before, but I will turn it over to Commissioner Curran to see if he has any questions.
Yeah, I mean, my recollection from the last hearing is Raji said he resigned.
He didn't resign. We told him that he couldn't work for us anymore
And why couldn't he work for you anymore?
because of the incident.
So the incident was serious enough to fire him and not to call the police.
The incident was serious enough that he had been drinking on the establishment and used the offices for personal space, and it's not appropriate.
Yeah, that was something else we noted at the last hearing, that it happened in your private spaces. Another reason that the police should have been involved. I mean, the big problem I'm hearing here today, I'm not going to repeat myself of everything I said at the last hearing, but what is clear right here is you handled this as a private matter amongst your friends. This wasn't a private matter. It's happened on a licensed premises. You're a licensee, or at least a member of a licensee. This was, once again, I'll repeat myself, this was an easy call to police situation. This wasn't a private matter amongst friends. You shouldn't have taken this upon yourself. This wasn't an internal matter. And I think everything that happened with your staff, with people sending the videos, anonymously with messages that parts of the video have been deleted. I make it very clear that this was a police matter from the very beginning. Like, straight answer, why don't we have this video?
I assumed you had the video.
We don't. Where's the video?
Oh, I'll send the video right away.
No, where's all the internal video that gets recorded to the internal hard drives at this premises?
Oh, any of the videos that you
Not a
guys
cell
have,
phone video of a computer screen.
I have all the videos. I have every video that was accessible at the time. We reserved the video just in case.
Okay, that's new information, right? That was my impression.
Nope, I was under the impression you guys had all the videos. Nobody told me that anybody was looking for videos. I would have sent them right away.
Okay, so what video do you have? How many camera angles? How much time?
I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know. Like I said, I'll send them to you. I think there's only one camera that's accessible to this.
That you mean in the office?
Yeah, it's an office video.
All
So you
right,
do have the video.
We have a short clip of a cell phone playing on a.
Oh, okay. All right. So you do have the video, but I'll send it to you again.
Yeah, the only video currently in the board's
That's not
possession
what I'm
is the,
asking for.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
What?
asking for the original videos from the premises.
From the camera. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure I have, I'm sure I have them. Yeah, I can send them all.
Okay, and I don't just want the camera that we could see, they run off presumably to a stairwell.
There's no
Right.
cameras over there, but yeah, I can send you the video
Yeah,
that,
I want camera of them going down the stairs, anything you have of their movements surrounding this incident. That's
yep,
what I'm
will do.
asking.
Yep.
Original, source video, not a video of a video.
Okay,
Mhm.
Just a comment, what I see is a very serious lack of judgment on the part of you as a minority partner and on part of the managers who were supposed to be on duty. As we've all said, that this was not a private moment between two friends. This happened on a licensed premises, and just because the woman, as part of the incident, said that she did not want to press charges, or didn't want it to escalate, it does not mean that you guys can take it upon yourselves to make the decision not to go to the police. And so I think you should consider this basically a stain in your professional career, that you would allow something like this to happen and not to go to the police. So that's my comment on the matter.
Well, again, if I may, I mean, it's the duty is we haven't violated a law, and that we have accepted what a woman of intelligence has told us that she wanted to do. And
There are plenty of guidelines and regulations that talk about incidences like this, assault and batteries, where a report should be made. The police should be called.
Anything further from the board on this matter? Great, so I will just state again, Mr. Brady, the only video that is currently in possession of the board is the short under 2-minute clip that was referenced in Sergeant Detective Salucci's report. If there are other videos as stated, please do provide that so that I can share that with the board as they make their determination on this matter.
of course, I'll email them right away.
Thank you. With that, the board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Those are all the items before the board this morning. That will adjourn this hearing. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.